Unfortunate podcast. We have Leia's list here again because, as you can see, if somebody's missing.
That's right. That's right. Jack is off at the market right now, but still get the two of us. We saw more of Jack in this episode than we saw in this Keep Your Torch Lit podcast. It's been a while.
I forgot he had a cameo.
Yeah. He popped in and said, vote off Cooper, and then we tried to. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like there's been multiple freaking attempts to get Cooper out thus far, and none have been successful.
No, they seem to always fail somehow, one way or another. But this one, it seemed like for a while, like everyone in the game kind of wanted him out, except for Megan.
True. Yeah, I think Cooper mentioned like Megan was the only one he's been completely honest to or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
Which isn't necessarily true. But I guess he has been pretty honest with Megan, I guess. He's lied to her a little bit, but
yeah.
I don't know, because he did blindside her at the merge.
True.
He didn't.
But anyways, we're getting ahead. So the beginning of this episode, major beef, major tea. It was like, so this was right after Emily Beast had just been voted out. Mm-hmm. And Leia is pissed at you and Cooper.
Yeah.
Bailey's pissed at people too.
Everybody.
Like, everyone was just so mad. What was it like in the moment?
I mean, it seemed like it dragged on forever in the episode, and it lasted like 10 times longer in real life. Like, really? I swear we were there for at least like an hour. Like, we were there for a while with people getting screamed at, and it was like, I feel like me and Cooper expected people to be upset, but not necessarily to the level that they were. Because it seemed like they were taking it to a very personal level.
You didn't think Leia and Bailey would be upset?
Well, Leia, I didn't at all. I didn't at all for Leia, at least not in me, because like I told Leia everything that was going on before Tribal Council, and like she was all like on board with the plan to vote off Emily. Like she knew it was going to happen. And the whole plan was for Leia to like pretend to be mad at me. That way people didn't expect our alliance.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was confused because I was like, wait, are they faking this fight? But then it seemed like she was actually mad at you.
That's what I thought at first. Like she grabbed me and pulled me into the room like, okay, Leia's like obviously fake mad at me. And then she started yelling at me. I was like, oh, I guess Leia's like actually mad. And it's because what I didn't tell Leia was that I told Cooper that she searched his room.
Yeah.
And then Cooper told that to Leia. And Leia seemed to think that the reason Cooper flipped was because that he knew that she had searched his room, which like not related. He didn't know that till after he flipped, but Leia thought that. So she in her head was thinking like, oh, like basically Sam lied to me and like he's the reason that Cooper flipped. And like in general, like I think she was upset because Cooper's whole argument was like, oh, like, well, you've been lying to me too. So like Leia didn't really have a right to be mad at him in Cooper's eyes, whereas Leia was thinking that, oh, like if Cooper doesn't know that I did this stuff, searched his room, whatever, then I can kind of be like the one that was blindsided and Cooper will be like begging me for forgiveness. But instead Cooper's attitude was like, oh, well, like you've been lying to me too. And like, it kind of just like reframed how Leia thought about the whole thing. So.
Got it. So she wanted to use this blindside as leverage, even though it wasn't even a blindside. Then it kind of got flipped because like, okay, I see.
Yep. So she was no longer able to use it as leverage, basically.
Got it. So it was really just that one piece of info.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That ended up being like, you know, I mean, that's the thing is like, sure, she searched his room, but Cooper also did lie about having an advantage and then got Lucy out using the advantage. So like they were both kind of lying to each other, but Cooper voted against Leia. And then Leia's saying like, oh, well, like you blindsided me. He's like, well, I didn't vote you out. Like I didn't blindside you. Like they're speaking two different languages, you know, like Cooper thinks that Leia slipped up and told him about the girls' alliance. Like Leia thinks that it wasn't a slip up and that she did it on purpose. Cooper thinks that like this girl's alliance was real and that he was going to get voted off at the final 7 or whatever. Leia thinks that like it wasn't that real. Like I was never going to vote you out, Cooper. Like so, they're just like they're not on the same wavelength at all, and they both think that they're 100% telling the truth to each other, but their truths are like not lining up with each other.
Yeah. It's so interesting because in the beginning of the game, they were so like aligned. And I was like, this is either going to go really well or it's going to end and like go up in flames.
I know.
I feel like that's how it is. Like, even just like getting into fights with like people you're closer to, I feel like it's always more dramatic than like if you were to fight someone you don't know as well. It just like cuts deeper.
I know, like it's like you have like outside things involved, like your friendships, and like I can see how it's not really said in the episode, but I feel like from Cooper's point of view, like Leia already kind of let him get voted off once, so he probably already thinks like, oh, she might do it. She could do it again. Like I can't speak for either of them, but I'm sure that some of the baggage that I would guess is influencing how Cooper feels about it. And then their friendship outside of the game, they're both very competitive people. They're competitive in like everything that they do. So like they want to beat each other also. So like there's just so much like, I don't know. There's so much extra stuff with like the two of them that makes it all like more dramatic.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Bailey was saying that she was going to be a bitter juror.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard Bailey say. She's like, I will be that bitter and petty.
I love it. Like you like that's the whole point of the jury. Like you have to factor in how different every single person is. There's no right or wrong way to vote as a juror. That's literally the whole point of this game.
That's true.
So you want to be bitter, you be bitter. You just have to account for who's going to be.
Well, you also need to just make sure that people aren't going to be bitter at you. Like I do think that a part of me feels like Adam and Cooper, especially Adam, it was a little bit unfair to the extent that they got yelled at, because like Adam really was on the bottom. If it went down to 7, he probably would have been targeted. So like, how can they be that mad at Adam for like voting, like, trying to save himself,
Yeah, that's true. I think they're just mad that he like was acting so like safe when they're like, you're not gonna win. Like I think they were just like mad at the smugness. Same with Cooper, because Cooper I feel like has like resting smug face. Like he's not even trying to he's not even trying to smirk. Like that's literally his resting face.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
It's like it's like tough in that situation.
I've never heard it said like that before, but that's exactly what it is. Like I don't think I do think he was a little bit smug also.
A little bit, but
that's kind of the thing. That's the thing. Even if you don't regret the move at all and you're not sorry at all, like you can't act like arrogant, like smug around when people are clearly upset, or they're just going to get more upset and like it could affect your jury chances or whatever. Like you don't need to apologize for your move or lie, but like I don't know. It's interesting because for me, I just felt like even though I didn't necessarily feel bad about the move itself, like because everybody else around me was like so angry and upset, like it just made me upset. Like even I just like if somebody around me is like really emotional, it'll just like make me emotional. So like I just felt like bad because they felt bad. And then
because you're such an empath.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It really is like versus I think that Cooper, that's just not really as much how Cooper's just very logical about the game. Like he definitely is able to separate the game from real life.
Yeah, Cooper's a math guy. He's a numbers guy.
He is also a Pisces. He also has his emotions. He is an emotional guy too.
Cooper is a Pisces. You heard it here first. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
I also don't know what that means, but Cooper is a Pisces.
Cooper is in tune with his emotions, but in the game, he, for the most part, is very like he separates it, But that's not really what like Bailey and Bree and Leia wanted to see.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know, but Bailey saying like, "Oh, like I don't want to be your friend anymore. Like we're not friends." And like Adam, like no chance of winning the game. Like I'll never vote for you. I don't know. Adam especially, like I just don't understand the anger at Adam because Adam wasn't even that close with Bailey and Bree. Like, so why are they like?
That's true.
So,
Like he's just trying to survive another week here.
yeah, I don't know. I guess he was. I mean, that's the thing is, I was in real life, like I didn't see those conversations. I was too busy getting screamed at. But watching it back, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit much for Adam. Like he's just really getting beat up right now. But I don't know. He probably was just being too cocky, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, if we're done with that part, I want to talk about my favorite part of the episode, which was the freaking Loved Ones challenge, which was again at Final 8. I feel like usually it's like around 8 when it happens. I'm actually really sad that Real Survivor doesn't do this anymore.
I know. Yeah, they haven't done it. And the auction.
Yeah, that auction's real old school, but I feel like Loved Ones, I guess maybe like, did they stop during COVID or was it before COVID? I don't know. But anyways, I would like to see that come back.
The last time they did it was Winners at War. But they did like video once a few times with like letters, but like it's not the same, you know? Not the same as seeing like Nate and Camila. Grace on the screen.
Yeah. Do you have some insider info on these picks?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Insider info. It's kind of funny. Like, so I think a lot of us had other loved ones we were potentially going to bring that basically production said like we couldn't. I know Leia wanted to bring Katie, who is like on production. So they said like, oh, Katie's a producer. She already knows what the challenges ahead of time. So like can't fly. And Bailey wanted to bring her boyfriend Noah, obviously also in production. Same reason, can't fly. Jack was in town. So like I wanted to have Jack be my loved one. What? And I was like, okay, like it's gonna be fun. You could just not tell him what the challenges are. Like, no, like Jack, like whatever on production or something. Can't do it. And then Megan, she wanted to have Jackson, obviously, her boyfriend. Which I think is stupid. They didn't allow Jackson to come on because, like, even though he had played the game before,
he didn't know what it would have been. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Also, like, he didn't know what it was. Like, he was voted off in the pre-merge. It's been a long time. He's not like he's on the jury. And also, like, I mean, we had to assume that Megan has been telling Jackson everything that's going on in the game anyways. Like, he already knows everything that's going on. Like, I didn't understand why Jackson couldn't be there.
Yeah, that one I don't get. But I'm glad Camila got to come.
Yeah, I guess it was a blessing in disguise because we got to see Camila come back and win the idol clue. So that was great.
Yeah. Wait, that was random, right? How did that work again? Random. It was like just luck. Okay.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh, we did see Nate come back though. Bree brought Nate back. Nate from season 4. I was dying at your Yoshi costume.
Yes.
Like how they matched. I was like, oh my God.
No, I'm glad I got to have Zane, even though Jack Tiggleman couldn't come.
Zane was your roommate at the time, right?
Yes. Yeah, my roommate. We had the Yoshi onesies. It was great. Zane was the one that put up all the big Yoshis in our apartment. So it was fun. And also beyond that, Bailey also wanted to bring Abby after they said she couldn't bring Noah. But also, like, there's no way they were ever going to let that.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen. So, like, Bailey had to go down to her third choice. But, no, Zane was great. He had a great line about Brady's hickey.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you want to find the idol, you must not be picky. God. You must look north.
Oh, my God.
Came up with that. Me and Zane, I don't know how we dropped the egg like instantly, but we did. Like, it was awkward because you know how like you start really close and you just like pass it, then you just take a step back. Like, it was like the first step back. It was an awkward distance to where I wasn't sure if it was like far enough to just like pass it again. So I was like going to do that and just pass it a second time, but then like halfway through realized it wasn't like far. It was like too far to pass it. So then I like tried to like throw it, and it just ended up like being a miscommunication where like it was just that awkward. If it would have been a little bit further, I would have just thrown it. It would have been fine. But basically like just miscommunicated and just like dropped it. And Nate's like pointing like they dropped the egg, yada yada. So
yeah. And also it was dark. I feel like it was kind of hard to see like the egg. At least
it seemed like the eggs were breaking in some people's hands, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like our loved one challenges are always kind of like basic. Like we had beer pong for ours. Now it's just like an
Yeah.
egg toss.
Hmm. I liked it
But
though. I thought it was fun.
simple, classic. Crouch wins. Crouch and his
Yes.
girl, are they still together? I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Crouch and his girlfriend win.
And
Oh, the twist. Here's where the twist comes in. So, from my understanding, at Tribal, he's able to give somebody else immunity as
hmm
well. Is this before the votes?
yes.
I forgot. Oh, yeah, it was before the votes. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, as I like it, but here's the thing. Like, I feel like most people would probably like figure out who he would give it to by the time the vote happened, and so then I don't. I wouldn't see it canceling out any votes necessarily,
Oh yeah.
unless he went like rogue and like played it on like Megan or something. Like I don't think it was gonna really do much.
Well, that's the thing is that because you don't know for sure who he's going to give it to, there needs to be two names, and like
Right.
that's where the whole episode it's like drama is over. Is like you
That's
need to have
true.
a first plan of who you're voting off, but then a backup plan in case Andrew gives the immunity to the first person.
Yeah, but does anyone really not know what he's gonna do? Like, I feel like he wouldn't just go against everyone and like somebody's gotta know who he's gonna give it to.
Well, that's the thing is that all week, like we have been hearing that he's going to give it to Megan.
From
So we're
who?
like, because I think that basically he kind of like hinted that he was going to do that because, I mean, I can ask Andrew at some point about this, but I'm pretty sure that like he was still kind of trying to hide how tight he and Cooper were. And it made sense to give it to Megan, given that like, okay, the
Oh.
two of them were on the bottom together. It just makes sense. Like, all right, they were on the bottom. This flip happened, but it's kind of like still the two of them against the world and like the perception of the game. And also, at this point, like Cooper was kind of like annoying Crouch. Megan knew her name was out there. Like it all just like made sense that he was going to give it to Megan, and he had told that to Megan, and basically said he was probably going to give it to her. And Megan had told some people. Megan told that to me. So like the consensus among most of the group was that probably Megan was going to get it. And Cooper was like fine with that because he like, the plan was for the five of us to stick together and vote off Bailey this week. So like the plan was basically, all right, Crouch is going to give necklace to Megan, and then we're going to vote off Bailey. But then there's kind of like this other plan where Adam and I were like, well, we're going to flip and vote off Cooper because we know that Cooper will be available. And this whole thing blew up after this whole thing ended up blowing up, but yeah, long-winded answer that we did kind of assume it would be Megan for most of the week that was getting the necklace.
Oh, okay. Oh, I also forgot that Emily B had her phantom vote for Cooper.
Yeah.
Which I guess like Leia pretty much figured out pretty early on that it would be for Cooper because she was yelling at him.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was already factored into y'all's decisions.
It sort of was, but it was tough because like you couldn't know for sure. I mean, Leia assumed that, but I was like, well, like I can't like bank a vote on like you can't really make it a plan based on like where that would be because there's just no way to know for sure. But it is funny that like Emily basically voted for Cooper because she like could hear Leia screaming at Cooper. It was just like so loud that like she's like, oh, like I guess it's Cooper that turned on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at that point, it was like the five of us who had voted together: Cooper, Andrew, Megan, myself, and Adam. And then there's the three girls, Leia, Bree, and Bailey, kind of on the bottom. Bailey's the vote, but like the three of them are trying to just like toss out whatever plan they can to get people to flip and save Bailey.
Yeah.
So like you saw them like first try to throw Adam's name, and me and Cooper didn't want to do that. And then they threw out Cooper's name, and me and Adam were kind of like, actually, yeah, we do want Cooper out. We've been trying to get Cooper out for a hot minute now. So yeah, let's do that. Let's vote off Cooper.
Okay, so after the challenge, you almost find the idol.
Yeah.
And you were spying on Megan and Jackson.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you just ran into them randomly?
So yeah, basically after the challenge, I knew that somebody was going to get the idol clue, and like I'd already figured out that I found the courtyard clue. It was in that same courtyard that Tarasky found his idol. So I realized that the clue led to wherever the revenge tour where it started. So it's either the football field or that's the Ingalls Mall, the start place where the game started. So I guess like I just kind of wanted to know, like, all right, like it's good to know who has what clue. And at that moment, I was the only one who had the final clue. So I told
Right.
that clue to Leia. The only two of us are the only ones with the clue. And then I'm like, okay, like let's go and stake out the spot and see who shows up. That way we know who got the clue at the challenge.
Oh, that's smart.
It was smart until we got seen by Megan and Jackson. Then it was not quite as smart because we're outed for being together and we're also outed for having the clue.
Right.
But
That's true. Wait, did
then,
any of
go
I'm
ahead.
like I literally like don't remember what happens after an episode after I watch it. Did anyone end up finding it?
So nobody found the idol,
Okay.
that we see in the episode at least. But it's funny because like me and Megan met after this, and like we both had like seen each other basically at the spot. But I felt like it was so. I really to this day don't know why we lied to each other about it because it would have been so easy for me to be like, okay, yeah, I had found the clue and I wanted to know who else like got there. And for Megan to say like, yeah, I got the clue at the challenge. Like we're both outed anyways. But for whatever reason, we both tried to convince the other person that like, oh, like I didn't have the clue. Like I just happened to like Megan's like, oh, like made up some lie about Emily leaking the clue to Camila, who told her, and me had like followed Megan there. Both were which were like very easily disproved lies. But I'm like, why did we even bother lying to each other? It's just kind of
It's
obvious.
just like,
At it.
well, y'all have kind of been like feuding this whole game.
Yeah,
First of all, and I just also feel like in Survivor, like whenever you're caught doing something, your the first instinct is to lie about it. Like
that's true.
it's just like paranoia.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. And you're caught red-handed, like especially with me and Megan. I think that that's like definitely our first instinct at this point is just to lie to each other.
Yeah, which is
Just
kind of
like
sad,
natural.
but
It is. It is. I did think it was funny. We had one last like scene of like bullshitting each other, like very obviously. Like, oh yeah, like we're going to final eight together. And we both like voted for each other. Like, oh yeah, I didn't get the clue. Well, yada yada yada. Tell some
oh
lie.
my
Like,
god,
okay, we both clearly had the clue. We're just dumb.
yeah. Um,
But yeah, see, I wanted to find the idol because Jack Tiggleman is in town. I was like, how sick would it be for me to show Jack that I had just found the idol and then
Idol
go
King
full
would be
circle?
so proud.
Yeah, he'd be so proud. He would have told me don't waste it. But wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be.
At least for now.
At least for now, but wasn't meant to be while Jack was there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was another clue we saw at the very end at the voting booth.
Okay, I was confused by this. Everyone got this clue, and why?
Yeah, I don't know. Producers, I guess, were bored that people didn't find the idol yet, and
Y'all
decided
were
to make
too
up
bad.
clue.
Y'all were too bad at finding the idols. They had to literally put the
I
clue in
guess
your
so.
face.
I mean, at that point, the final clue, every single clue had led to another clue, but this final clue about the revenge tour, like, was the last clue. Like, this one did lead to the idol.
That's exactly why I'm like, you and Leia spent so much time following these clues. Why does everyone get this last clue? Then what's the point of all the previous clues?
So the last clue, everyone doesn't get the last clue. Everybody got, it said a little paper that said how many votes have been cast in the game total. And then whoever was the closest got a clue.
Oh yeah, no, but still, I feel like it negates everything that you and Leia had done following the clues.
I agree. I fully agree.
Like,
it's kind of like, okay, skip to the, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy to this. Like, you're going through Monopoly, maybe you're rolling your dice, you're going around the board, and someone just like draws a card that like skips to the end. It's like, the same, but you never know. Maybe me or Leia is able to find the idol and it doesn't really matter. But I do think that like it's kind of like, okay, why would you like release a clue that just like skips to the very end. But the whole point is like to do a clue hunt that like one thing leads to the next, you know?
Wait, so your last clue is the same as the clue Megan got?
Yes.
And the same as the tribal clue? Okay.
Yes.
They're all the same, to the same
So
level.
Megan did also kind of like skip the whole thing. Like just because Camila drew the right, whatever poker chip, Megan's able to skip the entire clue hunt and just get the last clue. But that's also how Survivor goes, you know? Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. That's how the game's played.
Yeah.
Yeah, the voting booth. We'll see who got closest.
Yeah, I guess we don't know yet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of somebody seemed really confident. I think it was Cooper seemed pretty confident, or was it you? Somebody was like, it's 103 or something.
I'm sure we were both confident.
Yeah. Anyways, there were a couple of solidified alliance, like I guess like end game alliances this episode. Yeah, one of them being you, Leia, and Bree. You guys made one. How did that kind of happen? Like, how did that three randomly come together?
It wasn't really random. The three of us had made a final three at the merge. Because at that point it was myself, Leia, Bree, and Adam were in the minority, and then it was Bailey's 8. If you remember way back, that whole like Bailey's 8 alliance with Kevin and Megan and all them, like there was the 4 of us in the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So like I made a final 3 with Leia and Bree.
That seems like ages ago.
It was ages ago. So some time had passed since then, but I think at the time I made it with them because I thought that Adam might be getting voted off at the merge, and also like I wasn't 100% sure how much I could trust Adam at that point. But at this point, it kind of like re-solidified that final 3 because, for one, I kind of wanted to like do more damage control on the Emily vote, make sure that like Leia and Bree were still good with me, and also like I just felt like they were the people I trusted the most at that point. So that's the final 3 that I made with them. And I also like, that's kind of also part of the justification for like flipping that week, because it could have very easily just like stuck with the original group of whatever, the one that just voted together. The plan was to vote together again, get rid of Bailey. Maybe that would have been the better move, to be honest, because like it's not like me and Bailey were that close, but I kind of flipped to solidify that trust with Bree and Leia. And then Adam, I'm not really sure. I guess like for a similar reason, he felt manipulated by Cooper, but I'm wondering if that was the right move. Like maybe for me and both me and Adam, of like, why not just vote off Bailey this week?
Right. Why not vote off Bailey this week? Because it would piss off Leia and Bree?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I had a good conversation. I mean, we both had conversations with Bailey that week that were like pretty good conversations, where both me and Adam felt like we could work with her. And I also really like was afraid of Cooper, Megan, and Andrew as a trio. Like the 3 of them kind of seemed to be like a final 3. I think that Cooper like mentions that as being his ideal final 3 at some point in the episode. So I think that like I wanted to break the 3 of them up.
Got it.
I could have also just like done that the next week, vote off Bailey and then flip.
Yeah. There's also the duo of Bailey and Andrew, which they keep talking. Bailey keeps talking about how she understands why Shannon took Dale to the end. Like they have kind of like a really close bond that they built this season.
Yeah.
So that's another endgame duo we've seen.
What do you think of their duo?
I think it's random. Like I don't know how this really happened. It must be a lot of off-camera time that they've spent together that's built the bond.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they've been together since the beginning. They've been on Dawa since the beginning of the game, I guess. And like, I remember very early, one of the first few episodes, I think Crouch says something like, you know, Bailey is like I think my relationship that's grown the most throughout this game is with Bailey, because the 2 of them weren't really close at all before the game.
Yeah, that's why it's like in the beginning of the game, I would never have predicted this.
Well, that's the thing. We can talk more about the Friends alliance and its impact on the game. But like, I do think that like Megan and Andrew is an example where the 2 of them had basically no relationship before the game started, and now it's like one of the tightest duos in the game.
You mean Andrew and Bailey?
Wait, what did I say?
Megan and Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Andrew and Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Megan and Andrew, I would have thought they were closer, but then Andrew didn't even tell Megan the vote.
That's true.
That was like surprising.
Well, it's because of the Megan missiles. You got to be wary of those. You tell
True,
Megan
you gotta dodge
something,
those.
she may missile to someone else.
Yeah.
Although Bailey does the same thing, though, to be fair.
She does. Bailey also has her missiles.
Mm-hmm.
They just like happen to work out better, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so on this Andrew Bailey thing, this is honestly, Sarah, like I live this week. This week happened to me, whatever, in 2019. I've not been able to really understand it in all the years since. I'm only slightly kind of understand it now after watching the episode, but I never really knew like how it all blew up or like why Andrew and Megan ended up getting involved with this plan to get rid of Cooper. And I think that the answer to all of it is just that Andrew and Bailey were just so tight. Like Andrew, you're looking at it from Andrew's perspective, Bailey's a target this week, but he doesn't want to vote off Bailey. And so Andrew's like, I want to flip. I want to do what I can to save Bailey. And I think that's where everything started to get messy, is because there's already one plan that Bailey's involved with to blindside Cooper. But now Andrew's like making this second plan to try to save Bailey. Mm-hmm. And that ends up also like putting Cooper's name out there. And then Bailey ends up telling Megan for some reason. I don't really understand this part. But Bailey ends up somehow, for some reason, telling Megan that the plan is to vote off Cooper.
No, that makes sense. That's what she does, though.
Yeah, it makes sense in that that's what she does. But, like, why would Megan need to be involved in this? If Megan's, like, close to Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me from a Bailey gameplay perspective.
It does, though. It's a Bailey missile. That's the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can see maybe in an ideal world, Bailey wants to get everybody on the same page. And if she's working with Andrew and Andrew's working with Megan, maybe she wants to like loop Megan in. But yeah, Megan hears this information and she decides to send a Megan missile.
The last one.
The final missile. Oh, that's sad. Ends up being a friendly fire missile.
Yeah. I mean, she kind of was a savage during Tribal a little bit.
She was. Yeah, she was. And Megan speaks her mind at Tribal, so I respect that.
Yeah. I love it. Like, I feel like she at first had a reputation of being like shyer and quieter.
Yeah.
But she really like blossomed this season.
Yeah, she just stopped like caring, I think. Or she wasn't afraid of what people thought.
Yeah. Should we talk about Akshay's 8th place prophecy?
Yeah, the 8th place. Akshay in the first episode. Do you remember this?
Kind of. What did he say again?
So me and Akshay were talking about how the three of us, me, Akshay, and Megan, had all gotten 8th place. Mm-hmm. We were all in the same tribe. And we had all lost our first challenge in our original season. And then Pawnee had just lost the challenge. Mm-hmm. I think we realized that every single person that had gotten 8th place in all the seasons had lost the first immunity challenge. Akshay, myself, Aliza, and Megan. Oh my God. So after we lost the challenge and realized that like there were 3 8th placers, Akshay was basically like, well, like one, like somebody on Pawnee is going to get 8th place. Like somebody will. And at this point, it's kind of funny. Like literally, the 3 people that got votes at this tribal council were me, Megan, and Adam. Who were the 3 people on Pawnee.
That's so funny.
It's just meant to be. Akshay really like must have been talking with Lavana. He must have been in the future somehow.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Should we eulogize Megan? Did we miss anything?
I just want to give a shout out to Leia. After Megan tells Cooper the plan, basically like, Cooper, you're going to go home. That's when like everything really blows up. And you see like all these random groups of people meeting with each other. And like, it was just kind of chaotic. It was chaotic in real life. It was chaotic to watch. I don't really understand it all, but essentially, like, I think Leia ended up realizing where all the votes were going to go, and that allowed her to get Megan out.
So she kind of controlled it.
Yeah, because the plan was Cooper, Bailey, Andrew, and Leia, I guess, were supposed to all vote for Adam. I don't know how this group of 4 ended up becoming a thing, because obviously these people aren't really like working together. But Leia realized that like they were not going to tell Megan who to vote for, so she knew that she would be the swing vote if like me and Bree and Adam were all voting for Megan. That was our original plan. Like, and those 3 are voting for Adam, and Megan's voting for whoever. Megan's not even clued in. Leia realized she is a swing vote and could vote off either Adam or Megan, and that Megan going home was better for her game than Adam going home.
Gotcha.
And another point I want to make is Adam had a chance at this tribal council to vote Leia out. That was like originally what Cooper and Andrew were pitching this to Adam after everything blew up. Like, oh, vote with us and Megan, let's get out Leia. And Adam like refuses to do this.
Wow.
Like, do you think that was a good decision, or like it's going to be one you had to wait and see?
Wait, why did he refuse to do it? What was his reasoning?
In the episode, it kind of seems like he's talking about like he wants to avoid going to rocks. And I also do think it was probably just due to, I mean, the original plan was like Adam was flipping and working with me, Leia, Bree, and Bailey. So he probably doesn't want to like flip on that. You know, there had been this alliance established with me, Leia, Adam, and Bree way at the beginning of the merge. And like, to some extent, that was still like a real alliance.
Yeah. I mean, I think getting out Leia would have been a pretty big move that he could have added to his resume. I think Megan's like not that big of a move just because she's been at the bottom for so long. And I feel like Megan and Adam were like both at the bottom for a while. Like he could have used her again in the future, or like, you know, teamed up with her.
I do agree that like it's not really in anyone's best interest for Megan to go home here, except for Leia, I guess. Like, I didn't want Megan out. Like, I really wanted Cooper out, and the only reason Megan went out is because like we couldn't vote for Cooper because he got the necklace. Because he like begged Andrew for it like right before tribal after he realized he was going to go home.
Yeah. It was still. I mean, there's still so many bears left in the game. Yeah, and it's so late in the game.
It's true.
That if I was like Adam, I'd be like, it's almost too late. Like, we have to start getting some bears out.
Yeah. I mean, we tried. Cooper was supposed to go out. That was the thing where, I mean, it seemed like Leia was kind of upset at Megan at tribal, where Megan's like, oh, it's still the friendship, you know, the friendship is controlling the game. And from Leia's perspective, she's like, I just tried to vote off Cooper. I'm trying to vote out Cooper this week. And like, you're the one that clued him in on the plan. And like, now Cooper has a necklace because of it. So like, you know, how is that blamed on friendship?
Yeah. I feel this is like a touchy subject for the audience.
It is, but
I see a lot of arguments about it.
I don't know. I mean, that's the side of it.
I agree with Leia personally. I think the friendships are more of a big deal in the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
I think. With all these plans to vote out Cooper and like freaking Bailey and Leia, I don't know. Like,
there is something to be said though that like after all the chaos, the votes happened to settle on Adam and Megan, who are like the 2 least connected people. You know.
But what about Andrew? He didn't have connections either going into the game.
Yeah, but he has immunity. But that's
Do you
true.
think he would have gotten votes? I feel like he's in like a way better spot though than Adam and Megan.
Honestly, I probably would have preferred Andrew to go over Megan, definitely, if it was up to me. But I really should have wanted Bailey out over either of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just all, the thing is, like, I was just planning all week on voting off Cooper. Like, that was the plan. And it all blew up at the very last minute. And I just, like, whatever. I just voted where people told me to vote. Like there wasn't really much to do. Like if I would have ideally wanted Bailey out, but I don't know. It all blew up. I think that's pretty much. I mean, the other thing I want to mention. Sorry, one more thing here is the votes were 4 to 3 to 1. But if Megan had voted for Adam, I think that Adam. Well, it's a tie vote. Like, what do you think?
That's true. It would have been a tie. I don't think. Do you think you guys could have come up with a unanimous decision?
Well, you just need one person to flip on a revote.
That's true. Like if nobody flipped. Because can you discuss before the revote? I forgot.
No, well, maybe. Didn't we discuss before the revote at the one where Dylan went home?
Okay, well, I don't think anyone's going for rocks for Megan or Adam, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
So
I might have went. I probably actually would have went to rocks for Adam, but there's no way that Leia or Bree do that.
Yeah.
Especially not Bree. Bree kind of wants Adam out. I think Bree has actually confirmed that, like, if she knew that there were votes on Adam, she would have voted for Adam instead of Megan.
Okay, so maybe Megan should have tied the vote because then at least she would have had a chance.
But she didn't even know who to vote for. Nobody told her. She had no idea.
Yeah.
And see, and the reason that Andrew didn't tell her and Andrew Cooper is because they supposedly thought that she was like too close to me and Adam, which doesn't make sense to me.
Because you started on Pawnee.
I guess, but like we hated each other for like most of the game. I don't know. Yeah. So like that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I think that if they told her to vote for Adam, then Adam would have went home.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like I guess they thought that they had Leia on their side and didn't need Megan's vote. Like I don't know. It's one to ask them about later.
Okay, we have a question from Ronan, the host of Survivor San Diego. He's just wondering, with the appearance of Camila in this episode, I figured I'd ask, how would have Camila done in this season of All Stars? And do you know if she held any resentments on not being cast? Were people like Jack trying to champion her to being cast?
Well, the casting part, you could probably speak to that better than me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back to. So I do remember for one of the big all-star casting meetings, a lot of people weren't able to attend. So it was actually like not that many people making some of these decisions.
Yeah.
So there weren't like a lot of people who could step up and like speak for certain, so it was kind of like, and I feel like this happens a lot in casting for a lot of different shows and movies. Is like one little thing can lead to another little thing, and like so many things can happen to like make this a reality or not. It's like everything everywhere all at once. One little thing can affect so many other things. So like there's many universes where she would have easily been cast, but like a lot of things like just like happened where like it just ended up where she wasn't. And I really like, it's hard to say why.
Yeah.
There's just like all these little things that added up that resulted in her not being cast. But I know Jack definitely would have wanted her to be cast.
Oh yeah. I think Jack definitely was big proponent for Camila being cast. I mean,
I remember I remember an argument that I remember people were making where that she like volunteered herself for the swap that got her out.
Oh.
And like I don't know. I just remember that being like brought up a lot.
Interesting. I mean, there are some other people that
I think a lot of people that were actually cast made mistakes like that too. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Some people played like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I love Tom. I'm not
like I said, it's like I'm like even for like because we've been on the casting side for certain things, and like I've been casting for like Survivor San Diego, for example, and like it'll be one person's just like split second change of heart that like got somebody on the cast and got somebody else not.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just like that's just how it works. Like we had a set cast and then somebody changed their mind and we like switched 2 people last second.
That's crazy.
It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to really pinpoint why it didn't happen.
But as far as whether she held resentment, I mean, I don't know exactly, but I do remember. I mean, she was definitely very shocked. Like, I think
Yeah.
that there's a consensus among most of the people applying, and that she was like 100% a lock. Like, I think it was just assumed that she was going to be on, and like I definitely thought she was going to be on. Like, she really thought she was going to be on. So I think she was mostly just like surprised, like very surprised, definitely disappointed. Um, but you know, maybe we'll see her again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Whether she would have done well on All Stars.
Okay, so I don't think she would have been as. I think she's more on like Megan level of connections, right? Coming into the game, or do you think more connections?
I think probably a little bit more because
Okay.
she was also, her and Emily B were in a music group together.
That's true.
She would have still like, I think that she was. I mean, she was tight with me, just like I was tight with her and Megan. She was tight with. I think she's probably tighter with Cooper than Megan was going into the game.
I think she
I don't
would
know. I
have
think
done well.
Camila. I think she would have had a decent amount. I personally feel like she would have done well. I
I
really
think she's very social. Like she's very good at like talking to people.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's like a secret challenge beast.
I just think that she wouldn't have been seen as like a really big threat. Like, but she also is like good at the game and like.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good at the game in general. Well,
she like as far as like getting herself into like alliances and like understanding the strategy and like, yeah, I think that she would have been in a good spot. Like I could see her on any of the tribes finding a way into the majority.
Yeah, I think so too. Like she's very likable.
Oh yeah,
but
I think she would have been. I think she would have done well. I personally do, but
I think so too.
To say.
I think she would like compared to. I actually think she would do better than Megan.
I agree.
She doesn't have the. Yeah, I think she would have done better than Megan.
Megan, I think that inherently, even though the production thing was like really screwed up Megan's game in the beginning, just in general, like going into the game as a couple, it just like is. I think it puts you in a tough spot, no matter what season you're on or what happens. Like I guess there are some benefits that could happen, but in general, I think it's just like inherently like difficult because you're gonna have if like that alliance is like ever found out, if you lied about it, like you had to deal with that. If you don't lie about it, you have that target. Like either way, it's just like it's always a factor. So like I think that Camila would have probably came in with less baggage going in just because she doesn't have this fake relationship like kind of or made up like breakup sort of like taking time bomb going into it.
Yeah. There's that. Okay, Megan eulogy.
Eulogy for Megan. Man.
Sweet, smiley Megan.
Yeah.
She wasn't as smiley at the end of her run, but understandable.
Understandable. She went through the ringer.
Although, even when she's upset, she still smiles, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. It's like even if she wanted to be smiling.
Like Cooper has the resting smirk face, Megan has resting smile face.
She does.
But in both seasons, had to play from the bottom for a lot of weeks. Or just like we're put in situations where there was like not much she could do, I guess. I don't know. But always trying her best, always doing the most, always like meeting up with people. Like she's not someone to just like roll over and die. Didn't end up doing better placement wise, but she fought to the end. And yeah, do you have anything to
add? She's one of the most memorable characters, I think, in both the seasons she plays. Like, it's just like she's like the perfect underdog. She's always has a smile. She has like, I think it's really fun that she's like this PhD student that seems like very, like kind of sweet and unassuming, but then you realize like, oh, like she has this other side of her. She has this like, she's like dating Jackson. She has this like fake boyfriend, like fake breakup thing. there's a lot of layers to Megan, and she's a really like captivating character for that reason. And like as the underdog, she's very easy to root for. I remember as a producer in season 4, like I was rooting so hard for Megan, and I was so upset when she went out. So I think she always brings the entertainment. She does seem to always be the underdog, and it does seem like I think she's like low key one of the more chaotic players, which like I think Kevin is a very obviously outwardly chaotic player, but Megan's more of like a sneakily chaotic player. Like she has her Megan missiles, like the tribes she's on, El Norte and Pawnee, always seem to kind of end up in chaos. But this is what we watch reality TV for. We watch reality TV for the chaos, for the smiling underdogs, for the missiles, and for the fake Oscar boyfriends and all that. So Megan brings a lot. It's great seeing her on both times. The production thing with Abby, the whole like leak, I think really sucks. It's unfortunate that happened to her, but I do think she had chances to recover as well. Just didn't really work out. But good player. Yeah. I think she ends up going out because of the final Megan missile. Just she was that leaking information. It came back to bite her. And that ultimately is what sent her home this time, because her telling Cooper basically did kind of lead to Cooper getting the necklace and her going home. Otherwise, Cooper would have been gone.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
Now we gotta rank the 8th place, which is a stacked freaking group.
Right?
Dang. Okay, in number 1 we have season 3 Eliza. Number 2 we have season 2 Sam. Number 3 we have season 4 Megan. And number 4 we have season 1 Akshay. Which, if Akshay is 4th, you know this is a stacked bunch.
True.
And we have to compare Megan against herself.
It's kind of funny. Same thing with Emily B. We had 2 people in a row tied their placement.
Whoa, that's kind of trippy. Wait, did anyone get 7th in this group that's left?
Cooper.
Oh, you're right. What if what if it just goes Cooper 7, and then
I don't think anyone got 6.
I don't think anyone. Well, Leia got 4th.
They got 4th. Yeah, Leia could do it. I think that's the only other one.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
So, All Stars Megan versus season 1 Akshay.
So All Stars Megan did not have much power.
No, not really. Not after the beginning of the game she did, but not as much after that.
Like in general, I just want to say I think she's at least 3rd. At least after season 2 you and season 3 Eliza.
You think that?
At least. I'm saying she's either. She's not gonna be higher than 3rd.
I agree with that.
Okay.
She's like, 3rd, 4th, or 5th in here. So like versus Akshay. I mean, what I remember from Akshay in season 1 is just like the thing that sticks out to me is the falling for that fake idol that Tarowski had, and then going to Rocks. And then I don't really understand why he went to Rocks, because he turned on his alliance. Yeah, Akshay went to Rocks for Tarowski when he wanted to vote Tarowski out. I mean,
Tarowski is a scary player.
No, he went to Rocks to save Tarowski.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tarowski can convince people to do some things. I'm just saying he wasn't like bamboozled by like a dumb player. Like Tarowski won.
That's true. Yeah. Tarowski's a good player. He's a good player.
Season 4 Megan had the really solid alliance in the beginning.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like it was almost kind of similar?
In the season 5 Megan?
Yeah.
Well, season 4 Megan, I was recently watched one of the episodes, and it jogged my memory that these Megan missiles have been going on all along. And the one that really I think had a really big impact on the season, that this probably is not discussed very often, is after the Ben vote happens, basically Jack has this producer alliance with Eliza and Matthew. And the plan for the merge is for Megan and Camila and Jack to potentially link up with Matthew and Eliza, maybe get something going at the merge. And Jack tells this to Megan and Camila, hey, just so you know, I have an alliance with Eliza and Matthew. We could potentially use this as numbers when we get to the merge. Like right now, like it's only us three. Tokidoki's big and scary. Like we're going to need numbers. And Megan, I think that she was kind of paranoid about the producers, or that she maybe like wanted Matthew out. She ended up telling this information to Jackson. And Jackson that used this information to essentially get Camila and Eliza out. Like that information is single-handedly what caused Jackson and Dale to flip on Eliza.
Yeah.
And it kind of like is like the domino effect that leads to why Tokidoki had so much power at the merge, and why Jackson and Dale were able to dominate so much, is because Eliza was kind of the biggest thing standing in their way. Eliza was connected to all the girls. Eliza had the idol. And she was thinking of flipping. She was probably potentially going to flip, but after this information got leaked, that's what led Jackson and Dale to blindside her. So I kind of feel like that was pretty bad move. And this leaking information thing, Megan's kind of been doing it all along. She did that.
She hasn't really learned from it. Like, as entertaining as it is, it's like not always the best thing to leak info.
It's not. Yeah, either people are leaking Megan's info, or like she's leaking other people's info. Like she's always getting this information spread around. But yeah, the other thing with Megan in season 5 was she tells Adam that she's thinking of flipping, and that's what at the very first vote, or whatever the Dylan vote, she was like, oh, like what if the two of us flip? And that was what led to me flipping back, and what got that blindside to fail. So I do think that like Megan's kind of doing similar things, and kind of her game is ending in similar ways. Like she ended up going home because she leaked the Cooper plan to Cooper.
No,
but
exactly.
Cooper
That's why
care about Megan. Like
I don't really know like what to rank her then.
Do we think that she's better? Season 5 Megan is better than season 1 Akshay?
This one's a tough one for me because I honestly don't know why we have Megan above Akshay in the first place.
Well,
that might be a hot take.
I mean, the biggest reason I think is because Akshay, he also kind of like borderline quit the game. Like after he basically, what happened was like Akshay flipped in his alliance, went to Rocks for the enemy because Trotsky promised to give him an idol that was like a fake idol. And then after that, Akshay like kind of like stepped away from the game. He had some personal stuff going on, and like when he got voted off, he just kind of was like not really doing a whole lot. So I think he just had a really bad, like very, very bad merge versus Megan. Like sure, like the leaking the producer thing was bad, but she also just like Tokidoki was a formidable. El Norte was just also kind of screwed that season. Like I think that she got a little bit less for that.
In that case, I think I would put her in 3rd place for season 5 because she had the whole Jackson thing stacked against her. Yeah, it's just like it's like a tougher crowd in general, with it being all stars. She won some challenges. She
did, yeah, the merge. I do think too, like even though the like Abby information, as much as like there was a lot of time afterwards for Megan to recover, but inherently like that kind of like caused her to play differently than she would have played otherwise. You know, like after that information got leaked, she got paranoid. It like kind of led to her flipping on her alliance, and like she was never really able to reach the same heights that she had again. So like
that's why I think 3rd, because she had more stuff stacked against her for this season.
Yeah. And so you think she played better than she did in season 4?
I don't know if she played better, but if she had a harder situation and she like played at least equally. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I think, I mean, she did. It's true. She did survive, I guess, more votes in season 5 than she did in season 4. But also, like, I can't point to one specific move that she made in season 5. Like, versus season 4, I can say that she basically did get Ben out. Like she's the one that had the information and like came back to Jack and Camila and like got Ben out. I will give her that. And she also did like kind of outlast Katie. I don't know how much that was due to her doing or kind of more due to like Shannon, but
Yeah.
I think I'm fine with that though. Yeah. I think that maybe because of all the things that happened in season 5, it's like more impressive that she got 8th place again versus season 4. Like she had to work harder to get there, I guess. Or had like more, it was just more difficult, you know?
Yeah.
So 8th place rankings, we have number 1, season 3, Eliza. Number 2, season 2, Sam. Number 3 is season 5, Megan. Number 4 is season 4, Megan. And then number 5 is season 1, Akshay.
Stacked bunch.
Stacked.
Aren't you glad that your season 5 Sam isn't on this list?
Yeah, that would be tough. That'd be tough. I was worried when I saw my name come up at Tribal, and like after all the scrambling, I was like convinced that like, oh, this is it. Like I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, you did better your second time.
It's a good feeling.
Like placement wise, so
it's a good feeling to be
exciting.
I felt really bad that Megan didn't though. Like I related with her in that like we both wanted to be 8th place. So I really wish we could have beat it together. Despite all the difficulties we had in the game, like, you know, like I didn't want to vote her off. I felt bad. I still feel bad. It is what it is.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I'm excited to see how the season ends.
We'll be back with the final KYTL episodes. 3 more left.
Yes.
3 more. Final 3.
Final 3.
All right. Well, great talking to you, Sarah. And until next time.
Bye.